thank you, Joona, for having us here at your office. And we could begin with you telling us about yourself in your own words. Who is Joona Puhakka and what is your background?
Well, hey, thanks for coming here, and it's nice to have you here in our office. And who is Joona Puhakka? So I am many things, I guess, because I am an entrepreneur and I'm a person who studies different possibilities and changes within the way how we as humans behave, and then from there I derive for different business ideas. So as far as from, a lot of my personality comes from athletic background. I used to be an athlete, and then I've been applying that as an entrepreneur in my work life for a long time now.
Yeah.
What do you consider the most critical aspects of the athlete's mindset? How do they translate?
I called it grinding. So the ability to keep doing things although it's painful and there might be tears involved in it, and it takes a long time. But I learned from athletics that nothing good comes without pain, to be honest. So I have also learned the idea that the goal that you set is actually the amount of pain you think you're gonna be able to handle, because if you want to be the best in the world in something, it requires a lot of practice. So it's the grinding part, and exact same thing applies in entrepreneurship.
So as an Olympic level athlete, your goal is to be the best in the world. So are you striving for that same mindset and attitude as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I tried not to, but I always come back to the same personality as I've always been. So yeah, I am blessed and I'm cursed with the idea of trying to be the best in the world. In entrepreneurship, that's a difficult concept. So in athletics, it's nice because there's competition and you can measure yourself against the best. But now in business world, it's not possible to clearly define what is the best in the world. But I'm definitely I have set my goals high.
Do you think are there some aspects of that sports mentality that do not fit well into entrepreneurship?
Yeah, sometimes I expect other people are ready to grind as much as I am, and that's not true. So that's something that I have learned in work life, that as a director of a company, I need to accept the fact that it's not the same for everyone who's doing this. It's my personality, and I'm blessed to have a business owner or partner who has the same mentality. But when it comes to our employees and people who work with us, no, I cannot expect that from them. So that's a downside in a sense, that I easily get caught up in the idea that I just keep doing and doing and doing, where I can do it, but others need to go home and relax.
Yeah. So that kind of comes from the building a reasonable culture within your company.
Yeah, so the culture within a company is actually a great question, because we have a team, part of our team, or actually a larger part of our company locates in India, and then we have our headquarters here in Finland. So then how to build a culture within a company, it really comes from the way how company is directed and what is demanded and what kind of expectation levels we set within the company. But we are, in a sense, I would say that our culture is very much entrepreneur driven, and then people who work with us, they like the fact that they know the owners and we're like a close little team, compared to when working at a large enterprise as an employee, you never really know who owns the company.
Yeah. On this note, would you say that you're an idea first person or a team first person? Which one do you start building from?
Well, does this derive from the question what is more important from an entrepreneur or idea, or from a startup standpoint, which one is more important, the idea or the team? Or
kind of more what was your approach? So did you first find the people or first find the idea?
Well, for Coredo, which is a management consulting company focused in IT industry, I used to work at Accenture, which is the world's leading company in that one. And while working at Accenture, I realized that in the Finnish market, the mid-sized companies are underserved when it comes to IT, meaning that large IT companies and international IT companies, they provide services to the largest companies in Finland. But you have to have 1 billion in revenue to be able to buy services from company like Accenture. Now, that creates a kind of a hole in the market where companies who are mid-sized, so anywhere around 200 million in annual revenue, they're not capable of buying quality IT services or managed IT services where there's a team in Finland and a good team in India. So long answer to your question is that I saw the problem in the market first and defined that, and then built a team around the problem that I found within the market. So in that scenario, I guess it's idea and then team.
Yeah, but that really does sound like a sensible approach, because in a way, if you don't know what for you are building a team, it's hard to get the right mix of capabilities and skill sets to actually solve the problem.
Well, I am a person who thinks that ideas are easy, execution is difficult. So it is. I know a lot of people who listen to this one as well have a lot of ideas on how we could have this kind of an app, or we should do this and that. But the execution, so take the idea and execute the idea to a functional business, is actually very difficult. So in that aspect, the team plays a crucial role. And I have this thinking that there's 3 stages to do anything successful. And first thing is a dream. So you need to have a dream to do it. So in business world, it's an idea. And then, but nothing can be achieved by yourself. So you need a team. But then if you have a dream with a team but no execution, so you end up just dreaming. And then if you have a team with execution but you have no dream, so you have no direction for the team where they're going, so then they're in this cycle. They just keep running really hard but they don't go anywhere. So to actually make a change and actually push a company forward, you need the dream, you need the team, and you need the execution.
Well, are there any ways that you make your team to kind of take that execution culture within to the like daily life of the company?
Yeah, well, it comes from the way we manage the company. So I cannot push and say that, hey, you need to execute harder, because the executing harder is very personal to many people. I see a difference if a person has an athletic background or if a person does not have an athletic background. So there's a person from athletic background, I can say and explain that, remember, as an athlete, you did your best, but you realized that your best is not good enough, so your best actually can be a lot better. And when this concept is discussed with someone with no athletic background, it's a difficult concept, because the best I can give is the best I can give. So there are these theoretical aspects of running, but execution is, we're a tough business. Consulting is a tough business. Our clients are always demanding. We're always, from a client standpoint, we're always too slow and too expensive, and then that kind of trickles down to the employee who's actually writing the software. So execution is an important part of our daily business.
I feel like there's also a nice parallel to this, like sports, as you said.
Yeah.
That when you, if you have an idea in sports, okay, I'm gonna break the world record, I'm gonna be the best. Well, that idea alone is not gonna get you very far without execution and actually doing the thing, and that is the definitely the harder part of those things.
Yeah, and in sports it's really easy to see that. Because I had the pleasure of making it all the way to Olympic Games. So I was a child who was talking about Olympic Games and the dream of Olympic Games. So I'm a person who actually lived the childhood dream, which is very unique to have. So same thing needs to apply in entrepreneurship. Now, I'm saying that every person, every employee in the world does not have to have like some fantastic light bulb come up and this is my purpose in life. I really don't believe that. But when it comes to running a company, people need to know what the company is trying to achieve and then execute towards that goal.
Yeah. How about if you think like 20 years back, the kind of businesses were very tech orientated and built around the tech. So do you think that entrepreneurship is going to change towards more people orientated way?
Well, currently I'm really worried how everything is still today just technology driven. It's not my education at university, my major was marketing, and within marketing it was consumer behavior. So I've worked my whole life in IT, but I have no IT background in a sense. But my background comes from understanding why anyone uses any kind of a system, and when they use that, how they use that, so that the technology needs to be built around human people, not technology as technology. So to your question, is entrepreneurship an answer to that? It's part of the answer. And part of the problem is entrepreneurship, because it's so easy to think about that we build this mobile application, we can scale it through the world, where then we forget local businesses like actual daily services that we all need. And then the focus from starting daily services has gone to building mobile applications and technology in a sense. And I don't believe that technology changes. Technology is not what saves the world. Technology enables things, but technology as technology doesn't do anything.
Mm. Yeah.
That's a nice way to put it. I noticed that you also had this quote of like our company doesn't have assets, we have people.
Yes.
It's kind of goes towards the same kind of track.
Yes, so in corporate life, everyone talks about resources. And so in IT world, you build a team, you need this many resources. And I hate that. I understand what resource is, but when we're in consulting business, the resource is a human being, and a human being has different skills without looking at their salary level. So large enterprises run their businesses as resources, where every human being is a resource, and then it's allocated in an Excel. And that's why I'm so keen on always saying that we don't have resources, we have people in the company.
So Joona, you have done a lot of things along your life, first diving at the Olympic level and then founding your own consultancy company. But when did you understand that you wanted to be an entrepreneur?
In 2005, I took a class of entrepreneurship at a university where I was studying, and that's where I realized that entrepreneurship is the path for me. And at that time, the path that I set out for myself was that I have to work in one startup before I need to work at a startup before I form my own company, because I need to know why would anyone buy anything from a startup. And then second is that I need to work at a largest possible international company that I can, so that I understand why would anyone buy from such large company. And the idea there was that I need to learn the position of my own company when I form it, and then understand why would anyone buy from us. So in 2000, early 2000, mid 2000, but at university, in an entrepreneurship class.
All right.
Yeah.
So there are some ways that the university pushes towards entrepreneurship. That's always a good thing, because we need that kind of attitude in people.
Yeah.
Did you find any interesting answers? Like, why did companies want to buy from startups? Like, were anything?
Yeah. The answer is clear. So startup needs to find a problem within the market and then provide a highly niche solution to that problem that exists. And then the startup needs to do it better than anyone else. Now these opportunities arise from the ongoing changes in the world. So in general, large companies are stable and they do their thing, and then small ones can see, like this COVID-19 has created a lot of opportunities in the market. So then entrepreneur needs to kind of not exploit, but in a sense exploit the possibility that exists.
Yeah.
So the question was, did I find answer of between big and small? So that's the answer for a small one. And then large one is that, for example, in IT industry, it's easy to understand that if Kone Elevators, for example, wants to outsource their IT maintenance, they cannot outsource it to us because we're too small. They need to outsource it to a large company who has a big bank account, and if everything goes to hell, then they can sue each other, and they buy certain kind of security from buying from big ones. But there is always a role for small one as well.
Yeah, that's a really nice way to put it. Like big ones buy security from other big ones,
Yes.
because they can afford the lawsuits and so forth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The real life example is in as far as I can tell, in Finland there was a pharmaceutical company that updated their core ERP system and it went to hell, and I think the vendor paid back 7 million euros. So if that would be for me, I would just go bankrupt. We don't have that money.
Yeah.
So that's a real life example of why to buy from a large one.
Mhm. So like one crucial skill for a small company or startup is kind of keep up the product to the product market fit in the changing market.
Yes.
But what other things do you see as the most crucial for a startup or a entrepreneur?
Well, the idea is one thing. Then there's a method of how to move forward, but it really comes down to the team, as we were discussing earlier. So, you need a team of people, because then there needs to be someone else to share the good and the bad with, to be able to have the courage to go forward, and then the patience to handle all the negative that comes along. So entrepreneurship is, in general, in my opinion, semi-overly sold as something beautiful in the world, but it's hard. So then having a proper co-founder team is one of the crucial elements of a successful company.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. As you said earlier, like it takes some grinding. Yeah, grinding.
See, I need to say why grinding. So startup, or if we talk about an early stage company or startup is born with maximum amount of undone work. So nothing exists. You don't have anything. So you have to build everything. And that's a concept that a lot of people kind of forget down the road, especially when a startup founder comes from a large company. They're used to having support systems, but in startup there's no support systems. It's just you and your startup. So maximum amount of undone work.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time to get that going.
Yes.
You also mentioned, we were discussing like what kind of mindsets are good and bad, like from the sports strategy transitioning to entrepreneurship. But is there like some undone work when coming from sports background? Like, is there anything, big skills or big personality traits to relearn or learn?
Yes, so that's one. Actually, relearning is the thing. Is that athletic background teaches you that you always need to learn and study. So that helps out. For example, when there's a problem that no one has an answer to, it's, at least for me and my personality, is that I can start spending time looking for the answer. Now, that it's not always the case with people. Some people just rather wait for the answer, and then others go and seek for the answer. So I think, but I don't know if that's generic for athletic background.
Yeah.
That at least is something, because in athletics I was constantly learning. So in practice I did 50 to 100 dives every practice, twice a day. And so I got a feedback from coach 50 to 100 times each practice after every dive. So I'm used to the feedback and just the idea of getting better and better. In work life, I don't get feedback every time I do something. But yeah, hopefully that answers what you asked.
It definitely does.
Yeah.
Thank you.
How about, we have been talking about smaller and bigger companies or corporations, and you kind of got that experiences before you established your own company from a startup and then from bigger company. But how about now? Where do you see your company and yourself in 5 years?
Yeah. Well, we are in 5 years. We're in the tough spot of being mid-sized company, who's not small or large. So we end up in a happy place of having middle management and processes and methods, but not being large like the largest ones. But no, jokes aside, I really think that we're on the path for a quick growth here shortly. So we have set up a team and company in India, and we have the team here in Finland, and we have now made certain partnerships in India, which gives us access to skills that we didn't have earlier. And then I would like us to see being more international. So we have now Finland and Bangalore, India, and then I would like to see Sydney, Australia be one of our offices, and then hopefully gear towards Eastern Asia and or Southeast Asia. So in 5 years, hopefully, I don't have to work as hard, and I can rather focus on being a strong owner who looks at the market opportunities.
Yeah. Sounds like a big plan, but
Yeah.
Let's hope that sounds like a good way.
Yeah.
Like, would you have any last words for our viewers and upcoming entrepreneurs?
Yeah, dream, team, and execution.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I think we have come to an end now. So thank you for this interview and your time. And this has been a true pleasure to be here and interview you.
Well, thanks for coming here. It's a pleasure to have you here in our office, and I'm glad that I got to tell my story for you. Hopefully someone gets motivated from it.